Hey guys, how's it going? I had some thoughts on some things that I noticed following some comic pros on Twitter, looking at a couple different reviews. There's one guy I'm following, Captain Frugal, along with a couple other guys, Wayward Nerd, Just Some Guy, Diversity in Comics, quite a few other guys. And I've kind of noticed a trend with Marvel, but certain other indie comics. That one of the most important components of a visual medium just seems to be something that a lot of publishers don't seem to be buttoning down, and I don't understand why that's such an issue, because there's so many guys I'm following on it, guys and women, just artists in general, that have really good art, that do commissions, and you see these guys in general, and their art's really good. They're really talented. Following them on Twitter, following them on Tumblr, you see their Tumblr art, and I'm just thinking to myself, why aren't these guys getting hired on to these books? Is it a situation with budgeting? Is it because it's too expensive? I seem to recall Ethan Van Sciver, who's a really good artist. He's really known as the guy for Green Lantern. He did some stuff with Flash Rebirth, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this. He admitted that he gets paid very well, but I feel like if it's a book that you want to be successful, you should be willing to, deal with the expenses or look for really talented individuals. Case in point, I am really into Cyberforce, the original run, right, from the 90s, the 5-6 issue miniseries from like 95, or it was it 93? Yeah, I think it was probably 92, and then the ongoing run. I read the first 30-something issues of the ongoing run after the miniseries, and I don't know, it kind of faltered a little bit towards the late 90s. I kind of lost interest. But those first 35 issues, even though the writing it wasn't something that was going to get, awards, but it was just a fun comic. The way the characters were drawn, I think that was the biggest thing, was the art was really good. Mark Silvestri was doing a lot of the art, and when he wasn't doing it, it was a lot of other really good artists. Even if they weren't the top artists in Image, they were still really good artists. And I was getting excited because I was talking to a couple people, and I was saying, hey, there's a comic called Hunter Killer and Cyberforce, and they're having a crossover. And you had one of my favorite artists named Kenneth Rockenford. I love the guy's art. It's really neat and detailed, especially if you follow him on Instagram. You see he posts up every day, every couple days, a sketchbook, and the guy just draws, and he does watercolor paintings. He does everything. And I think he's supposedly doing one of this new initiative with DC for these new characters they're trying to create. And you look at the previews of the upcoming Cyberforce book, and I saw the cover, and I was like, it looks interesting, despite the fact that I hate Ballistic's character design. I don't know why they designed her like that. She's got the side of her head shaved off. She doesn't even look like that character. I just can't stand it. I can't stand, just ruining the characters. Like, you can change and do different things to the characters, but don't change the core of the character. Superman's a hopeful character, so making him a very angry, bitter person goes against Superman. I mean, that's not the character. You can make changes here and there, do different things with him, put him in different situations, show different aspects of the personality that doesn't get emphasized, and there's certain things that you can change, but the core values of that character shouldn't be changed. Same thing with the comic Cyberforce. I saw a couple previews, first 2-3 pages, and I'm just like, I was going to pre-order this book, and now I'm not interested. I don't understand why a lot of other books that get canceled, and people are like, oh, this is such a good book, and you look at the art, I'm like, just the art alone is mediocre at best. if you want me to spend my money, or if other customers to spend their money on these books, you should be able to find really good, talented artists, really good, talented writers. There's a whole bunch of these guys trying to get their work out on social media, trying to get their work out on YouTube, and you kick these people to the curb for other artists to virtue signal, or because of SJW diversity or whatever it may be. But if you want to speak to that, oh, we have a black writer writing for Luke Cage, and someone says it's not good, and you want to turn it onto them like they're, racist or biased against them. If that was really the case, why can't they write an Avengers book? I mean, Christopher Priest is writing Deathstroke and Justice League. Why? Because he earned everything he did on merit, and he's good at what he does. You might not like everything he does, but you have to admit that the guy's a competent writer. He's a good writer. Same thing for certain artists. You've got guys like Whilce Portacio. You've got guys like Jim Lee. You've got guys like Mark Silvestri, who used to do Cyberforce from the 90s. A lot of other guys I think this guy's named Lionel Yu. Quite a few other people, and guys and women on Instagram that do commissions. And you're like, these are really talented people that aren't getting hired because of whatever reason. And it's just kind of sad to see that one of the most important things is the most undervalued thing. Hopefully things will change. I've kind of noticed certain other books coming out that may not be getting canceled, depending if it was under the Axel Alonso run of his choices that he made. C.B. Cebulski's kind of got to ride out the wave for the next couple months, even though he's done quite a bit recently. But hopefully, with this whole Fox Disney deal, we can get some really good X-Men books. I mean, even the fact that they want to branch out to other markets, I was just thinking, how amazing would it be to have a really cool X-Men manga series? And I'm not saying just that really cheap sort of Japanese manga interpretation. I mean, I want some guys that do art on like Trigun or One Punch Man, the really detailed, awesome art with like 90s styled X-Men. How cool would that be? And just thinking about it, there's so many opportunities for the fans and for the customers, because if you're spending your hard-earned money, you don't want a subpar book. The art can be the deal breaker from someone looking at that, and even if the story is good, they see that. I don't want that. It doesn't look good. Why spend $5 on this indie comic when I could spend $3 on something from DC or some other independent book that has really good art, and I know is going to have a solid run? Nobody likes inconsistency. The last 2 issues of this book was good. Next 3 issues were okay. The current 2 issues been subpar, not really good. Almost was going to drop it. Next 3 issues were good. Nobody wants that. They want consistency and know that their money is being spent on something and that there's a payoff to the story. There's going to be characters that are going to last. They're not going to just get shuffled, or the book will get rebooted every 7 or 8 months, and everything you've read and spent your money on doesn't matter. So those are just some of my thoughts. Maybe it was ranty, but I just wanted to get that out there.